wood fire cooking, Anansi stories, and the pulsating rhythm of our sounds all resemble the Jamaica we know and love. This is why TPDCO places emphasis on community tourism development. With its unique offerings and potential to generate income for local communities, this type of tourism invites you to get up close and personal and experience the magic of Jamaica. To learn more about community tourism, visit www.tpdco.org or call 968-3441.
We want visitors to make it Jamaica again, and so the Ministry of Tourism and the Tourism Product Development Company Limited are implementing measures for our tourism workers and visitors to the island in anticipation of once more sharing our warm hospitality. If you're operating at an air or seaport, please note, the walkway leading to and through security scanners and trays is to be sanitized after each person passes through barefooted. Floor markers will be installed in areas where guests are required to be in line to maintain physical distancing, and fully equipped hand wash stations are to be installed at all ports of entry. All staff facing passengers should be adequately equipped with protective gears. Handlers of suitcases and other personal items of travelers, example their passport, are to wear disposable gloves or sanitize hands after touching items. At our air and seaports, do your part to make Jamaica a COVID-19 resilient destination.
Hi, my name is Harris Taylor, President of Maxi Tours Jamaica. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the Tourism Ministry and its agencies, in particular TPDCO, for the tremendous job that they continue to do over these many years in the development of the tourism industry of Jamaica. I would also like to encourage all members of Maxi Tours and the transportation subsector to feel assured that your interest within the tourist industry is secured. As we continue to face these challenging times, I ask that you and your family stay focused and follow all the instructions given by our government and try to maintain a positive outlook. Look out for one another and be of good courage. May God continue to bless us all. Thank you very much.
Hello, I'm Marilyn Burrows, President of the Attractions Association of Jamaica, AJAB. Fellow Jamaicans, united we stand, divided we fall. Let us together unite in helping to keep each and every one of us safe. Let us do our part in respecting the COVID-19 protocols that have been established for our country. Remember to wash your hands frequently, wear your mask, keep your physical distance, sanitizing, boost your immune system through exercise and eating fruits and vegetables. And if you are 65 years and older or otherwise vulnerable, stay at home. United we stand, divided we fall. If we fail to follow these simple procedures, this will not only put you at risk of getting this evil COVID-19 virus, but also your friends, family, loved ones, and those in your community. If we comply with the protocols and do our part, soon enough our economy will get going and we will once again deliver excellent service and create treasured memories for our visitors. You, our workers, are of paramount importance, and compliance is key. Remember, united we stand, divided we fall.
The Iron Medalists of Harry Belafonte. This is my island in the sun, where my people have toiled since time began. Though I may sail on many seas, Jamaica will always be home to me. Oh, island in the sun, will to me by my father's hand. All my days I will sing in praise of the forest waters, the shining sun. Pray the day will never come when I wade away to the sound of drums. De Babila de Carnival, singing reggae music in the tropical. Oh, island in the sun, will to me by my father's hand. All my days I will sing in praise of the forest waters, the shining sun. Mango, mango, mango. Mango ripe, mango sweet, mango ripe, mango sweet. And I want a penny to buy mango ripe, mango sweet. Give me a penny to buy mango ripe, mango sweet. Mango sit down on the mountain top, mango ripe, mango sweet. Mango sit down on the mountain top, mango ripe, mango sweet. And I want a penny to buy mango ripe, mango sweet. Give me a penny to buy mango ripe, mango sweet. Me no drink coffee, tea, mango time. Kiro nice it may be mango time. At the height of the mango crop, when the fruits them are ripe and drop, wash your pot, turn them down, mango time. Mango, mango, mango. The coconut woman is a calling out, and every day you can hear her shout. Coconut woman is a calling out, and every day you can hear her shout. I give me coconut water, coconut. I say be good for you, daughter. Coconut, coconut, you got the iron. Coconut make you strong like a lion. Coconut, I met this woman the other day. I said she coming out to stay. Riddy be ding bang be ding. Hurry be bang ding. And you can cook it in the pot. Coconut, and you can have it very hot. Coconut, coconut, you got the iron. Coconut, but make you strong like a lion. Coconut, coke that make you feel tipsy. Coconut, talk all kind of gypsy. Coconut, coconut, you got the iron. Coconut, to make you strong like a lion. Coconut, 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 coconut.
Coconut, what can I tell you? Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we begin our proceedings this morning with Jamaica's national anthem. Honorable Edmund Bartlett, Minister of Tourism. Stephen Edwards, Acting Executive Director, Tourism Product Development Company Limited, TPDCO. Eminent presenters, members of the media, stakeholders of this vital tourism industry. distinguished ladies and gentlemen joining us on the virtual platform for this, our 25th anniversary webinar. Good morning, and welcome. I am pleased to be with you for this very special webinar, which is part of our commemoration of TPDCO's 25th year of existence. A milestone it is indeed, and a testament to the importance of the role the organization plays in this, our bread and butter industry, tourism, and of course, our country. More importantly, it is a response to our stakeholders' feedback in respect of information they would like to receive to arm themselves with insights to entering and growing in this sector. Information regarding our licensing and quality assurance processes, certification and training, as well as information on COVID-19 resilience, which is of utmost importance as we reopen the sector. Our veteran team members from TPDCO will guide us through this maze and answer as many of your questions as possible. We're also delighted to have with us some of our tourism partners, who will also be sharing with us how they have been navigating the waters of the pandemic in the areas of accommodations, attractions, and tour operations. They too will interact as together we learn and grow stronger. Our anniversary theme is TPDCO commemorating 25 years of sustaining Jamaica's tourism product. We are aware of the tremendous responsibility we have to the Jamaican people as we carry out our mandate of maintaining and enhancing Jamaica's tourism product. And just before we get into the meat of the matter, please note that this meeting is being recorded for quality and training purposes. By continuing to be in the meeting, you're consenting and authorizing TPDCO or any entity authorized by TPDCO, such as the Jamaica Information Service, to copyright, use, and publish any of the images or recording in any format taken during the current year. You understand that these images may be used for a variety of purposes and may appear on the TPDCO website, the GIS website, in the TPDCO magazine, on promotional materials, or any other media now known or to be invented. You also understand that TPDCO or any entity authorized by TPDCO will use the images exclusively for TPDCO purposes and not for any commercial gain. Ladies and gentlemen, as is customary, we begin with Thanksgiving. Ravletta Fraser, one of our team members here at TPDCO, has that honor this morning. Ravletta, over to you.
Good morning, everyone. Shall we pray? Heavenly Father, Jesus Christ of Nazareth, Holy Spirit, we invite you. We welcome your Holy Spirit in this place. And even now, Lord, we ask that you just take over our hearts, our minds, our spirit, soul, and body. Father God, we give you permission to be in this event, this meeting, and that everything that will take place, Lord, will be according to you, to what you want for your glory and for your honor. Father God, we humbly bow our hearts to you and we ask you to fill us, Lord. Fill us more than even before, Lord. Father God, because it's in you that we have unity. It's in you that we have love. It's in you, in the knowledge of you, Lord, in the knowledge of your Son, Jesus Christ. And so this morning, we humbly place our hearts before you and ask you to fill. Father God, we ask for direction and guidance in everything that will be discussed this morning. Father, for your glory, for your honor, for your name's sake. And so, Father God, we thank you. We thank you, Lord, that even in this time, going through this pandemic, Lord, that we are here, still breathing, Father God, because of your mercy, because of your grace, because of your breath, because of your love. And so, Lord, we just ask you to just take over. Father God, direct all plans, Almighty God, that it will go according to what you want and how you want. So, Father, we ask and we give you thanks. We are grateful, Lord, for this honor. Thank you, Lord, for your Holy Spirit. Thank you, Lord, for everything that you have been, even more that we know, more than we can see. Father, take full control. We ask and we give you thanks in the mighty name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth, by the power of your Holy Spirit. Amen.
And amen. Thank you so much, Ravletta, for inviting God's presence this morning. Our acting executive director, Stephen Edwards, is passionate about increasing the knowledge base of our stakeholders. Please welcome him as he comes now to the virtual lectern with his greetings.
Welcome one and all to yet another engaging tourism activity that I'm certain.
Welcome everyone to another session for professional and self-improvement. Recently, we hosted a similar version of this webinar for our secondary and tertiary students who were grateful to have received detailed and beneficial information on careers in tourism. As TPDCO celebrates its 25th anniversary, we are overjoyed to provide another information-laden session, this time for our seasoned professionals, as well as those who might have joined as service providers or are contemplating becoming a part of this vital industry. Once an opportunity arises to receive free and beneficial information, I advocate for it to be taken with open arms. Your attendance today shows that we share the same belief, and I congratulate you all for taking this step. I am confident that you will walk away with a clearer understanding of the tourism sector and how you'll improve yourselves and businesses. We have been receiving numerous queries on TPDCO's many services, and we thought it fit to address all your concerns in real time and in one space. This 2-hour slot is intended for you, and we have tailored it to fit your every need. We invite you to take notes, share the information, and use it to ensure that you are making the right steps in transforming your business or getting started down the road to compliance. Over the past decades, we have seen tens of thousands of participants of our Team Jamaica program walk away with greater knowledge of the country, our culture, and customer service information from our trainings. We have similarly assisted licensing many businesses that have gone on to provide incredible service for our guests, in addition to product quality department, which aims to help you to deliver services that are in line with the sector's requirements, the safety of our guests, and international standards. All these are created to help you. So I invite you to tune in and give this session 100% of your attention to ensure that you walk away with the confidence that the Ministry of Tourism and its agencies have your well-being at heart. We're here to help. We do it with passion and purpose. We at TPDCO take your interest into account and give it the highest priority. We are pleased that you have taken the time to attend. Have a fantastic webinar, and we wish you all the best in your endeavors.
Thank you so much, Mr. Edwards, Acting Executive Director of TPDCO. Ladies and gentlemen, Honorable Edmund Bartlett, Minister of Tourism, is an advocate for Jamaica's tourism industry. He believes that every Jamaican who wishes to participate should be able to benefit from this industry and has championed many initiatives to do so. He has been busy giving support to ensure Jamaica, our region, and the world get back on track in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic. And only last week, Jamaica celebrated nearly 700,000 stopover visitors, and projections are for 1 million visitors and passengers coming into Jamaica by year end, which will bring somewhere in the region of $1.5 billion into the local economy. That's important. Ladies and gentlemen, a virtual applause for our Minister of Tourism, Honorable Edmund Bartlett.
Welcome one and all to yet another engaging tourism activity that I'm certain will be beneficial to you. We have learned during these times that while health is wealth, so is knowledge. This pandemic has taught us to tap into our full potential and to arm ourselves with the creative tools necessary for growth. The tourism industry has seen many bumps over the past year, and as we enter the last 6 months of 2021, we believe it is time to get into full recovery mode to prepare for a better year ahead and an even more resilient tourism sector. Today, you will uncover a great deal of information from the importance of how to license your tourism business to how to acquire the much needed COVID-19 compliance certification. I'm also pleased that some of our key stakeholders have come on board to share with you their own experiences and present you with expert knowledge on how to weather the pandemic. Indeed, how to pivot and emerge stronger than before. In the tourism sector, we are blessed to have many channels of support. And with this free information that TPDCO will provide for you today, I urge you to act now and use it to your benefit. Apply the knowledge provided to improve your respective businesses or your various fields. We have seen where modification to many tourism businesses have become necessary. And while the negative impact of the pandemic is showcased widely, we have also learned that to be more efficient, inventive, and how to work smarter. Our service providers have been strong in the face of adversity, and for that, we are equally grateful. As such, my ministry and its public bodies would like to thank you for your interest and service to our sector. We are grateful for your contribution and patience. And while we are in the rebuilding process, we crave your support and unity as our combined efforts will benefit all of us. Let us work together towards a common goal of becoming not only the #1 destination in the world, but the most resourceful, forward-thinking destination and sector that can and will improve the well-being of all Jamaicans. I close with the king of the blues singer-songwriter B.B. King, who said, "The beautiful thing about learning is that no one can take it away from you." I urge you to learn as much as you can on this webinar today and leave more enlightened than when you came. Thank you. All the best and enjoy the session.
And thank you, Minister. It's now time to get into our conversations. And my first guest is Cheryl Lewis. We're going to talk a little bit about licensing your tourism business. Cheryl has over 17 years of managerial experience in the tourism, rum, sugar, and food processing industry. She's presently the License Processing and Registration Manager at TPDCO. Prior to that, she served as Product Quality Manager, Western Region, Acting Standards Manager, Western Region, and Standards Officer, Western Region. A member of the assessment team for the Bureau of Standards Jamaica National Quality Awards program for several years, she has been lead auditor since 2007. A certified HACCP Food Safety Systems Management Consultant and trainer, she is trained and certified in conducting audits for HACCP ISO 9000 and ISO 14000. She's also a member of the Bureau of Standard of Jamaica's National Food Safety Committee since 2008 and is an attorney at law. If you have questions for Cheryl or any of our presenters that will follow, please put them in the chat and we will take them at the end of our sessions. Welcome, Cheryl. It's great to have you in our boardroom live this morning to talk about licensing your tourism business.
Thank you, ma'am.
How are you doing?
I'm good, I'm good.
All right. Let's begin by talking a little bit about the roles and responsibilities of the license processing unit here at TPDCO.
Well, the license processing unit actually was transferred from the Jamaica Tourist Board in 1999. So the Jamaica Tourist Board would of course be doing the license, but the functions were separated. And so we would process applications for licensing of the Jamaica Tourist Board entities on their behalf. And really that's our role, to maintain the database, to guide persons who would want to apply for Jamaica Tourist Board license and to help them through the process.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about the license categories that we have.
Well, we have several categories of license which are issued by the Jamaica Tourist Board. So I'm going to go with them in alphabetical order. So we have the attractions, and we have the bike rentals. If you're renting a bike, we have that category. We have the car rental operators also. We have the craft traders, which you're aware of, will be producing the craft items, but they have to be in designated. We have 15
markets
across the island for them to be able to get a license.
And how many are there? Are there 50?
We have 15 designated craft markets located across the island. And of course, we have our contract carriage operators, which most persons are aware to take in the transportation, the Jota, Jekyll, Maxi, and so on. Those persons are granted a license. We have the domestic tour operators, so the persons who have been organizing various tours. It's really wide. They could have a walk-in tour, or somebody organizing transportation, accommodation, everything. Those would fit under the contract, the domestic tour license. And then we have the hotels. also, which will be granted license. We have the homestays. Now, homestays are what we used to call the bed and breakfast.
Bed and breakfast.
But so that you would have to be in your residence. So it's a part of your home. Persons you will invite to come and have accommodations there. That's a category of
Right.
license.
So you have a few extra rooms, and you can, you have empty nest, and you have 2
Correct.
extra rooms, and you want to get involved in the industry, you can do it by that means.
On that category.
Yes.
And then we have what we'll call the resort cottage license, which would facilitate apartment, guest houses, and villas in that category. And then we also have
They're
the
the
water
same as
sports.
the
non-hotel.
non-hotels.
We call them the non-hotel,
Okay.
but then the license is a resort cottage for those 3 categories. And then the water sports license. We also process approvals on behalf of the Jamaica Tourist Board for places of interest and travel house. A place of interest could be, example, like an Emancipation Park, where you don't pay an entry fee,
Right.
but you have something cultural, historical, and so on to offer. And then we have the travel halls. So you see all those travel halls across the island, you're stopping to maybe use the bathroom, have something to eat, and so on. So we monitor those, and they'll get an approval, not a license.
Okay. Now, persons might be listening in and wondering, so how do you actually, what's the process? How do you go through this process with TPDCO? And what's the difference between what it is that TPDCO does in this process and JTB?
Okay, so
just sort of in a nutshell, what is the licensing process?
So the licensing process, well, you have to complete an application form, and our application forms are located on our website, www.tpdco.org, under the section how to apply for a license. So you would go there, fill out the application forms, we can email it to you, and also from the officers. Once there are a list of documents that for each category there will be specific documentation. There are some common to all, but you will complete it. The product quality officers who work closely with the operators would assist them through the process to ensure that they have everything from the public health and fire and so on to facilitate the process. The application is submitted through our regional offices, and then once everything is...
And we have regional offices
in Montego Bay, Ocho-Rios, Negril. We also have a small office in Falmouth, which we hardly accept application, but if it can be done. We also have an office in Mandeville and one in Portland. And of course our head office in Kingston.
All right.
We're located.
So there are many places to actually do business with TPDCO physically.
Exactly, and to facilitate the process. And they would submit it through the offices, working with the officers, who would of course have to do a physical assessment of these entities. And they would submit them into coming to Kingston from my unit, the license processing unit, to review on behalf of the Jamaica Tourist Board. Then we do a submission to the board because it's their license and they have to grant the respective approval. And once the board would have met and granted it, then we would do the printing of the license for them to sign, and we would dispatch, package everything, and send it back to the regional offices for the operators to collect.
So JTB is pretty much the final arbiter. Their board will meet and look at all of the assessment that has been done by TPDCO, and at the end of the day give a license, and then you can have some benefits accruing to you by virtue of being JTB licensed. But stick a pin before we talk about the benefits. External requirements, expected timeline to completion. Sometimes we get questions coming in to say, it's how long does it take? How do you have everything synchronized and that sort of thing? So what are the external requirements? Because it's not just TPDCO doing the assessment. You rely on other agencies to fill in some of the gaps.
That's correct. So you would have had to, let me start with the contract carriage operators. They would have had to have an assessment done by the Transport Authority, the Island Traffic Authority, for the vehicles, and to have the necessary documentation in place before it comes out. So they have to have a road license. And that's actually the contract carriage operators and the craft traders. That process takes about 2 weeks from it goes into the regional office to come to us. We have a 2-week turnaround time when it gets to us to send back. In terms of the other entities, you have public health department, the fire, because you have to ensure that the thing is safe,
So let's say I'm an attraction. I'm going to need a public health certificate.
Public health certificate, the fire certificate, because they will be looking at your evacuation routes and so on.
Do you have a plan?
Do you have a plan? Do you have an emergency plan? The security, the police tourism liaison, or visitor safety, we call it, resort area. They would have to do a security assessment because they're the experts. Because you want the visitor to be safe.
Yes.
And they would do that assessment, which we would organize. They have to have security or security system in place which have to be approved from a registered security company. And also, like, all business would have to be registered with the company's office.
Of
Were they
Jamaica.
going of Jamaica? Were they going to be doing a limited liability company
Or sole
or a sole
proprietorship?
trader?
Yes,
So
okay.
try it, then that has to go through. You have to have insurance,
Public liability.
public liability insurance.
So if I pop my foot when I come, at least there's something, you know, it doesn't
Correct.
become a liability for you.
Right,
with the business.
right, for the business. So the insurance will cover it. We have several insurance companies that we have been working with over the years. To ensure that insurance is in place, we also accept insurance because some persons can afford insurance from overseas, and we do accept that. We do a verification with that.
All right. So what is now the process to renew expired licenses, and what sort of calendar? So for example, for contract carriage, there's a particular time of year that it becomes due for renewal. When is that? And the same for some of the others, the attractions and so forth.
Right. So for the renewal of those licenses, there are basically 4 set dates in terms of the expiry date. So for the bike rental operators, the contract carriage operators, and the domestic tour operators, those licenses all expire March 31st every year. So from January, we'd start the processing of those, of those licenses to ensure that they will have a current license by the time it expires.
And don't wait until March to start the process, because then you're going to be unlicensed for a period.
You're going to be unlicensed
at
for a
which point
period.
you are likely to be yanked from the JTB website as being licensed, no sir?
Well, the Jamaica Tourist Board has initially, they did it, and then when they had a revamping of the website, what they have done now is that we have to ensure that we constantly meet the recommended status. So you wouldn't be yanked right now, but there are going to be liabilities that you're going to have. Example, if you're paying the 10% GCT, which is a benefit of being licensed, when you have made the arrangement through the TAJ, and if say you license had expired March and you were benefiting from the 10%, and you didn't go on license until all the way in August, you'll lose that benefit, or you'd have to pay the difference between what would have been the 10 and the current GCT rate at that time. We also have April is for the attractions and the domestic and the water sports operators. Attraction operators can actually obtain a 3-year license, but the other operators obtain a 1-year license.
Okay.
The craft traders, their license expire June 30th annually, and the car rental operators, their license expire September 30th every year. I must point out, you see, that the accommodations currently don't have an expiry date for their license. They get an indefinite license.
Yes,
But you have to maintain a recommended status by ensuring that all the documents you would have had at the time when you apply, that you submit them for TPDCO to update our records, so ensure that you still have your public health file, your security, and so on.
All right, Cheryl, we're pressed for time, so I want you to just tell me quickly what sort of training does TPDCO offer to assist some of these entities to meet their licensing requirements? Because I know there are some that have some specific requirements from TPDCO's perspective.
That's true, Marlene. So we have the Team Jamaica, which is required by all contract carriage operators and the craft traders. They must be Team Jamaica certified, and of course our training unit along with our approved training partners would have done that. They also would require the tour guide certification for the attractions and also for the tour operators who are going to be offering guided tours where they're providing information, and those are the 2 main training that TPDCO would offer as a part of their training requirements.
How much would it cost me? What are the fees associated with getting licensed?
Our fees are very affordable, Marlene, but let me quickly go through to you. So for the contract carriage license, $5,000 annually, and you will get your decal, your ID with that, and with the license for that, and also $800 for the ID for the additional driver. So you get an ID for 1 driver, and then any additional, it's $800.
Okay.
For the craft traders, it's actually only $1,300, and that will also give you 1 ID, the decal, and the license. And if you need have additional employee, then it's $800. For all the other categories of operators, like the domestic tour operators, car rental, bike rental, and water sports operators, the cost is actually $10,000 annually. And however, I must point out, I know a number of persons are trying to get licensed because of the whole COVID and so on, and the benefits that will be accrued from it. And so because of the industry has been badly decimated. And so we have put something in place where since January this year until next year, March,
Right. I was going to ask you about that fee waiver, because I remember
the
Minister
fees
talking
have
about
been
it.
waived. And so currently we are not, you don't have to pay any fees. We're
And
not
this
accepting
waiver
payment.
goes up until when?
March 31st, 2022. So it was
All
effective
right.
from January 1, 2021 until March 31st,
So
2022.
there's a little reprieve there, which we're
There's a
grateful
little
for.
reprieve.
Why do you have so many requirements to get licensed? That's a question that comes. If you can give me a 30-second answer for that one, I'd be happy, because that question comes to us all the time.
It comes all the time. You see, it's an operational license the Jamaica Tourist Board is granting to you. And because the industry is so wide, I've listed the different categories of license. So they have to ensure that, okay, based on whatever you're doing, it is safe. So if you're operating a transportation vehicle, you must have a road license, have the necessary insurances in place. If you're operating a beachfront property, you have to ensure that the beach is licensed based on the Beach Control Act and so on, to be licensed. The public health certificate, same thing. So depending on what you're doing, there are other legislation in Jamaica which governs that
Yes.
particular activity. And so the Jamaica Tourist Board has to ensure that, yes, this product is safe and have the requisite documentation from the relevant agencies in place for you to operate.
Do's and don'ts. What should I not do in this licensing process? And what would you recommend I do as, the get-go?
Well, one of the issues we have been having is that persons want to start a bit, they come up with a name. Say, Marlene's Hospitality Limited. And Marlene goes and obtains all these different documentation in that name. But Marlene didn't go to the company's office to register that name. So
the
by the
cart
time
before the
Marlene has
horse.
gotten all those documents, then went to the company's office. When the company's office searched,
somebody
they
have
said,
that name already?
Somebody have their name. And so you will not be able to do it, and you're going to have to go and find a name which is probably near enough, or the combination of the name that you wanted to use. Because we can't process a license in a name that you don't own.
Yes.
Right? So, and ensure that before you do something, go and check if the name is registered at the company's office.
One more do, because we have
And
1
one more
minute.
do is ensure that all the documentation you are submitted is in the name that you have been authorized, registered with the company's office to use. That's a critical thing where you have a lot of times persons don't get it done that way.
All right. What are the benefits of being licensed?
Benefits, one, you'll be listed on the Jamaica Tourist Board website. You can have access to the incentives through the Ministry of Tourism under the Fiscal Incentive Miscellaneous Provisions Act. And also when anything comes up, maybe some grant, example like the CARE program that went last year.
Persons are able to benefit.
Persons are able to benefit if you have a license. And plus you can guarantee your visitors and anybody using your services that, hey, I've met all the requirements, I'm safe, and I'm here to give you a wonderful product.
Finally, how would a visitor know if an entity is licensed?
Well, one, they can check the Jamaica Tourist Board site. They can always come to TPDCO and check it. And the person is supposed to have the license displayed. And TPDCO is actually coming up with an app where a person's visitors will be able to verify that also.
All right, hold that horse.
I know.
Thank you so much, Cheryl. For information, just quickly give our listeners or viewers an email address or some contact that persons can get in touch with either you or members of your team if they require further assistance.
Well, they can, our TPD can let us know, LET, at tpdco.org. That's the easiest thing to give, and that information will be forwarded to any one of us to answer. So let us know at tpdco.org. Thank you.
All right, and thank you, Cheryl. It has been my pleasure having you, and I hope we've cleared up some of the questions that some of our viewers, some of our stakeholders have been posing over these past months. Now, I have a little something to give away. Where's my bag? I don't know where's my Spruce Up Jamaica bag with some goodies, but I like to give away things. So I have some giveaways, and if there are any questions, and I found the bag. All right, so here is my bag. And I have some questions that I want to ask. We'd like to do the giveaways, but if you have questions that you may want to pose for Cheryl, then I would invite you to put it into the chat at this time so that we can take those questions before she disappears on us. But let me give you my giveaway question. And oh boy, these are so easy. Name any 2 categories of tourism licenses. Cheryl went through all of them earlier on, and I just want for you to put the answer in the chat. Any 2 categories of tourism licenses. And the other question I have for you, when does the fee waiver for licenses expire? We heard earlier on from her that answer as well, and you don't get to answer because you don't qualify. I see a hand going up across the room. But when does the fee waiver for licenses expire? And name 2 categories of tourism licenses. Do we have any questions for Cheryl in the chat before we move on to our next presenter? I believe one of our team members, Oshin Wong, is monitoring the chat room, which is where we invite you to place your questions and, of course, place your answers to the questions we posed for the giveaways. And I'd love for her to just let me know if you have questions and we can take them. If you don't, then we can move right along. She is supposed to be on Zoom. Yeah, she's on. All right, Oshin, do we have any questions for us? She is speaking.
I am doing a cooking class where I teach guests how to prepare a Jamaican meal of their choice.
Could you just start that question again for us, Oshin? We didn't hear the first part.
What license do I need if I am doing a cooking class where I teach guests how to prepare a Jamaican meal of their choice?
Thanks for that question, Oshin. That person can apply for a domestic tour operator's license to be able to offer that cooking class. And the requirements are there, and since they're going to be cooking, then the public health certificate would also be required in order to be able to have that license process. But they can always email us and let us know, and we can continue the dialogue to give them further information on setting up that business.
And our officers are always willing
There's
to.
another.
Yes, go ahead, Oshin.
Are all licensed companies listed on the Tourist Board website?
They should be listed, because what the Jamaica Tourist Board has done, we would invite the persons to complete a form, because the Jamaica Tourist Board is responsible for that. They would have to complete a form with the information for them to be able to put it on the site as they would want. So through the Jamaica Tourist Board, that will be done.
All right. Thank you, Cheryl. Not sure if we have any more questions, but I would love to find out if we have any answers for the 2 questions I gave, because if I don't get an answer, then I'll just hold on to this and spruce up Jamaica goodie bag. Let me see what's in here. Well, I have some eco straws made of bamboo. Yes. And the little thingamajig to clean it out, you know, that little, like the baby bottle. You know what I'm talking about.
The brush.
Yes, the little brush. And then, of course, I have caps and I have pens and I have... So do we have any any answers to my question? When does the fee waiver for licenses expire? And name any 2 categories of tourism licenses. Let me see what else is in here. Oh, okay. A nice mug here. All right. Well, since we don't have any answers to that question, Cheryl, I'm going to hold on to the cup and I'm going to thank you. Oshin was saying something? Oshin, do we have a winner?
Yes, we do.
All right.
Zenada.
What's the name?
And Zenada.
Uh-huh.
She said attraction and accommodation.
Spot on.
And for the second question, Peter Gay said March 31st, 2022.
All right. So congratulations, Zenada and Peter Gay. And we will have more giveaways as we go throughout the morning. So thank you, Cheryl. And we will catch up. All right. Thank you so much for coming this morning. Our next guest is a 25-year veteran at TPDCO. She holds a Master of Science degree in International Tourism from the Universidad de Las Palmas de Gran Canaria, Spain, a postgraduate diploma in translating, and a Bachelor of Arts degree honors from the University of the West Indies. She's also a certified trainer, assessor of Heart NTA, and is a certified Team Jamaica trainer. She spearheaded the production of the map and directory of Jamaica's heritage by TPDCO in 1997, and its revision 10 years later in 2007. She's Mrs. Deanne Keating-Campbell, our Director of Product Quality and Training, who now joins us on the virtual platform to discuss the Quality Assurance Assessment process. Hello, Ms. D.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone.
Good to
It's good to be here.
and you're looking quite spiffy.
Thank you.
All right. Tell me about the roles and responsibilities of the product quality department in TPDCO. I know this has kind of evolved over the years since our inception in 25 years ago, but tell us about what is presently.
Presently, well, it's the product quality and training department, as you said. And as the name suggests, our business is about securing or working in partnership with the sector to ensure Jamaica's a quality tourism product, and also to train our tourism sector to have the highest level of training, and also therefore a workforce that is trained and ready to meet the needs and demands of our Jamaican tourism workforce of the product.
Assessment entail?
Yes. So therefore, the product quality arm, we have two arms. We have the product quality and the training arm. So the product quality arm, right now it has evolved into it has split itself in that we do quality assurance assessments on the one hand for Jamaica Tourist Board licensing. So the product quality team will go into the various tourism enterprises that were listed by Cheryl Lewis, my colleague, and we will assess for standards and quality, and that assessment is actually a prerequisite to a Jamaica Tourist Board license. That is done for each tourism enterprise at least once per year. And then in recent times, we have had a split where we have another team called the COVID compliance team. So we go into all tourism enterprises to assess to see to it that they meet the protocols, and therefore that TPDCO can certify them as COVID compliant. And of course, we have a training arm, which I'll allow my colleague, Megan Mollison, the acting training executive manager, to speak about.
All right, and we'll talk to Megan later on. Identify for me the businesses or the entities that qualify for assessment.
Okay, so in terms of a Jamaica Tourist Board licensing, for the Jamaica Tourist Board licensing, we have the accommodations broken down, and of course, into hotels, villas, and non-hotels, villas, apartments, guest houses, what we call homestays in Jamaica by the Tourist Board, which are the traditional bed and breakfast. We have, of course, my colleague also mentioned car rentals, etc., tour operators. We go into craft markets and so forth, and therefore all of those qualify for a Tourist Board license. On the other hand, now they can all also qualify for a COVID compliance certificate. The same entities. Mainly though, we go into for COVID compliance, we find that the most compliant ones are the ones that we have more demand to go into are the accommodations and the attractions.
All right, you may have some people who say, but I can't bother with this thing. Why? I mean, I can just do my little thing around the corner. Why do I need to be assessed? Is this something that is ordained by law? And again, what benefits? Because I think people will ask the question, as I say, the WIFIM, what is in it for me? So why do I need to be assessed? Is this something that is
first and foremost, law? When they meet the criteria for licensing for a Jamaica Tourist Board license, it means that they are compliant with the law and as good a law-abiding citizens. I'm sure that most, if not all of us, will want to be compliant with the law, because the Tourist Board Act says that once you're operating within the tourism sector, you are required actually to receive to operate under their act and receive a Tourist Board license. So whatever the entity is, you have to be compliant legally. But then, of course, there's another aspect to it, is that we walk along with you to ensure the highest quality standards. So when we come in with a fresh eye, for example. So when we come in, we may point out weaknesses that may obtain, and we give advice as to how to improve them in short order, or we also work along in partnership with sister agencies, such as the Public Health Department, the Fire Brigade, etc., the Tourism Liaison Police, to help all entities reach and also maintain high standards so that Jamaica and they themselves can be competitive on the global tourism market.
Right, so what you're saying is that by extension, another benefit would be our competitive advantage that we gain when we have all of our entities operating from the same Bible, so to speak, from the same book, adhering to the same standards, and of course, by doing so, you're oftentimes able to exceed your customers' expectations, and that is how we're going to bring people back to our shores. Yeah?
Yes, indeed. Standards and quality will indeed set us apart from the competition and keep Jamaica where we want to be in the #1 spot.
Yes,
we are doing well thus far, and I think the 25 years that TPDCO has been working are a testimony to the high standards and quality that the Jamaican tourism product is known for.
Identify for us all of the documentation that is required for an assessment.
Well, I think my colleague had mentioned them, but I'll just reiterate that in terms of for assessment for tourist board licensing, you would require general things. Now, depending on what it is the operation is, will determine what is required. So you will most likely require public liability insurance. That is one of the general criteria out there. Of course, you have to fill out an application form specific to the enterprise that you're operating, whether it be an accommodation, an attraction, a car rental, a tour operator, you name it, a homestay or bed and breakfast. You will have to fill out that specific application form and then meet the criteria that are specific to that activity. My colleague had mentioned that because there are certain laws that exist within Jamaica, they govern certain activities, and therefore the Ministry of Tourism and its agencies such as TPDCO, working in partnership with the other agencies, we work with them to see to it that all the tourism enterprises meet whatever criteria are applicable to them based on the different laws that exist in the country.
What's the process, Deanne, for scheduling an assessment? Because I believe some of the information would have been shared by Cheryl earlier on, things that are specific to the particular entity. There are some things that are generic and some things that are specific. But how do I go about scheduling an assessment? And having been assessed, what's my next step?
Okay, there are two ways. You can either be contacted directly by a product quality officer who will carry out the assessment, because each product quality officer actually has a quota of entities to do per annum, and they contact the entities and request a mutually convenient time to carry out the assessment. Or if the entity would like to, they can contact us at any of our offices. So if you're in the Kingston area or any area, you can call any TPDCO office, as a matter of fact. You will contact the product quality department. You'll be put through to the product quality department, and we'll advise you as to which office you need to speak with. And we actually will take your information and then put you on to the relevant persons who will contact you. So therefore, most likely, if you are in the South Coast, we have team members in Kingston and in our Mandeville office who will do those quality assurance assessments. Any difficulty you may be having, information is always posted on our website. That is contact information, www.tpdco.org. All our phone numbers, my information is there. My phone number, my email, etc., are there posted. So if you have not been contacted by a product quality officer for an assessment to be done, you can then contact us and then make arrangements with us to come in to do an assessment.
Right, and we are in the business of hand holding, so it makes it a little bit easier for persons, especially those that are new to the whole process. Are there existing standards, Deanne, or is there some sort of checklist that persons can go to give them some sort of guidance in going through this process?
Okay, so so the guidance actually, yes, we do have checklists, but the guidance also comes from not just our checklist that we have, which also we are working to have gazetted, but also the actual quality assurance assessment actually gives persons advice. And when we come in, we not only walk around and point things out. At the end of our quality assurance assessment, we sit with you, we go over our findings. We ask you we make a little notation on our post-assessment form. We ask that you sign it, as we sign to it also. And then we send to you within a week or two a very detailed quality assurance assessment report, which is there for you to keep, to guide you. We point things out to you and we give you the recommendations. And if you need to go to another agency, all that information is provided to make life as easy as possible for you. Of course, information is also on our website, tpdco.org. And we're also always a phone call away.
Okay. Diane, I can't have you here this morning and not touch a little bit on COVID-19 compliance, because that is the order of the day. We have been battered and we have been trying our best to be as resilient as we can be. But still, some persons perhaps don't understand why it is necessary to get that COVID-19 compliance certificate. And I want for you to just reiterate, why is it so necessary to get COVID-19 certified?
Yes, but if I may, to begin to answer that question, I'll read one sentence, a quote from our Honorable Minister of Tourism, Honorable Edmund Bartlett. In his preface to the Ministry of Tourism COVID-19 Health and Safety Protocols, there's a sentence that states simply, these tourism protocols detail the actions to be taken for the protection of our workers, citizens, and visitors. You couldn't want it more succinctly than that. So therefore, what it means when you attain a COVID compliance certificate from TPDCO, it means that your entity or your specific entity guarantees the markets out there that you are safe, that you have protocols in place, you and your staff have been trained and made aware by TPDCO of the protocols. You know how to protect yourself. You know that if there's a case or more of COVID, that what the response is. You know what to do. You know how to act. You know how to keep yourself and your visitors safe. So therefore, I can only encourage entities to be COVID compliant. And I must say, let me hasten to say that the sector has been very responsive. We have issued over 1,000 COVID compliance certificates. Wonderful. The response is good, and they are adhering to protocols. Those who are not yet on board, we're working closely with them to get them to the stage and to get them opened again.
So I'm operating a business. What are the requirements to becoming COVID-19 compliant? What do I have to do?
Yes. So let me first of all encourage each and every tourism enterprise operator to go to our website at tpdco.org, www.tpdco.org. As you log into the TPDCO website, the protocols will pop up, and you can click on them. You can either download them or just use them from our website. They are very simple. They are very straightforward, and they are actually categorized and speak to the different types of enterprises and what they must have in place. Some general criteria, and we've been hearing them: the wearing of masks, the taking of well, let me start at the beginning. You're coming in, your temperature is taken. You have to sanitize, your hands are sanitized. So whether it is somebody's there to administer the sanitizer or there is a dispenser there, there is signage and there are floor markers indicating where you should go to and how you should distance yourself from the person in front of you, the person behind, the people around you. So you must observe social or physical distancing. Whether you're in a restaurant or an eating area or reception, you must observe physical distancing. The standard is 6 feet apart. So therefore you sanitize, you wear your mask, you observe social distancing, and each enterprise is encouraged in the protocols and enforced when we do our COVID compliance assessments as well as our spot checks to have up your signage, to have both your staff sensitized and resensitized, which we're doing through our training unit, and also to ensure that all requirements of the protocols are being adhered to. A simple one, another very important one, having a safety point person. So that person has a keen eye and will go through to make sure that their particular or the respective entity is adhering to protocols, not just by the staff, but also their visitors also. A visitor is not having a meal or not having a drink and not wearing a mask, there's no problem if with perfect exercising, good customer service, going over politely asking, excuse me, could you please put on your mask? If you don't have a mask, we have some available at the front desk, some complimentary ones, something like that. So there are very general protocols. We also have specific ones listed in the document, the protocol document for which is titled the Ministry of Tourism Health and Safety Protocols, COVID-19 Health and Safety Protocols, and we encourage persons to just read through them or just look through the section that is applicable to your entity. But then you'll also be guided when we have the product quality or COVID compliance officers come in to either do spot checks or COVID compliance assessments.
Right. And then, of course, TPDCO is charged to do all of the monitoring and to do these spot checks or mystery, what you call them, mystery shopping, to just make sure that people are doing what they're supposed to be doing. But let me ask you a quick one before we wrap this up, Deanne. Are there any entities that are exempt from being certified?
No, they're not exempt from being certified. Once they're operating in the tourism sector, they should be certified, and TPDCO monitors all entities within the tourism sector. What I must stress, though, is that for the accommodations, the accommodations and attractions all have to be, or actually all of them, all entities have to be tourist board licensed. So they must first have their Jamaica Tourist Board license, and then that is how they can be compliant or be eligible rather to receive their COVID compliance certificate.
And would I schedule? So yes, go ahead.
Sorry, repeat, please.
No, go ahead, Deanne.
Right. So I was actually saying to you that no. So the short answer is no. Once you are operating within tourism, then the TPDCO will come in and guide you through the process to become COVID compliant. And yes, you can receive your COVID compliance certificate. And we encourage all to do, because it's actually mandatory. And once you're operating, it's mandatory.
And it's safe to assume that I can schedule a visit to my property or my entity in much the same way that I would try to schedule a regular assessment for a JTB license.
Yes, we have been contacted by many entities, and we also make contact once we know, because at the start of the pandemic, many entities were actually closed. Now that they're opening up slowly but surely, either they contact us or we contact them, and we facilitate them immediately. Yes. We have enough team members to go around to facilitate, to do the hand holding, and it is our objective to get Jamaica's tourism product safe and resilient, because actually the protocols enable us to be a resilient destination, and that is what we want out there, so that the world knows that they can come to Jamaica because our product is safe. And I think the statistics actually prove that in terms of the rate of infection within the sector is either nil or very, very, very low. Yeah. So therefore, it is working. The evidence is there. The proof is in the pudding.
Have taken this seriously.
We are adhering and we are resilient. Yes, and we're safe. So come to Jamaica.
All right. Well, don't go, Deanne. Let me just throw a few questions at our viewers, and then we will come back to you with a final wrap up. My question for my little bag of goodies is: name 2 types of businesses that require quality assessment. And I don't think you mentioned all of these, but I know Cheryl did, and so persons should be able to answer this one. 2 types of businesses that require quality assessment, and name 1 requirement for obtaining a COVID-19 compliance certificate. 1 requirement for obtaining a COVID-19 compliant certificate. And I have on my little paper here some 4 or so options, so you should be able to figure that one out. Put the answer in the chat, and Oshin will come back to me in a little bit to see if we have a winner. I think we're pretty much down to the wire, but I want to just ask Deanne a final question, and in between time we'll take the responses from the questions that I gave. Next step after getting assessed. What's the next step? What do I do?
For COVID or for anyone?
For COVID-19 compliance.
So once you're assessed, and we review. And I didn't mention before, what we also have to review your recovery plan. And what that is that we ask that each tourism enterprise, they have their own little internal protocol based on the general tourism protocols as to how they are going to adhere to it. And then so we review that document. And also, so therefore, once you are assessed and that document has been approved by us, then we actually issue you with a COVID compliance certificate. Right now, those that have been issued will expire in December, on the 31st of December 2021.
All right. Thank you very much, Deanne. I want to just congratulate you and your team, because I know it has been a really a mammoth task, and a lot of effort has gone into not just doing the regular assessments for the various entities for JTB certification, but for this whole COVID-19 compliance. And TPDCO has actually put on a special team and has pulled staff from different areas, retrained and redeployed them into the field to be able to meet the requirements of the sector. And I just want to congratulate you and to thank you for the leadership that you have provided in that area, and to just big up your team, because, you know, the truth is they have been doing a whole heap of work. So your opportunity to do your final big up for your team before we move on to Megan, who's going to talk to us about training.
I thank you so much. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I would just like to say congratulations and thank you, a hearty thank you to the product quality and training and COVID compliance teams for the hard work that you're doing, because together we have achieved more. And we have actually gone out there, we have pounded the pavement, and the results are there to show. So thank you for what you do for the company, for Jamaica, for the tourism product.
Thank you so much, Deanne, and big up to the product quality and the training team at TPDCO. Now, I hope I have a correct answer to my questions, because my little spruce up bag, you know, is the little goodies. I would hold on to them, but I would really like to give them away. So, Oshin, I don't know if you have any answers to the questions that we had earlier on. Any two type of businesses that require quality assessment, and one requirement for obtaining a COVID-19 compliant certificate. Let me see if we can link with Oshin and see if she has any answers, any correct answers to that question. Oshin, I know you're managing multiple devices.
So
go right ahead.
Daniel said hotels and villas.
Danielle?
Yes.
Said, I didn't hear you.
Hotels and villas.
Okay. So,
and Kelleen mentioned public liability insurance. That's one of the requirements. And she listed hotel and bike rentals.
Okay, so we have one person winning 2 questions, winning twice, and Danielle winning once. And the second winner is, say that name again. Did you say Kayleen?
Kelleen Merchant.
Okay, Kelleen. All right, so Danielle and Kelleen, congratulations to you. Kelleen has a double whammy, and Danielle has the correct answer. Yes, types of businesses that require quality assessment, hotels or non-villas, which would be now a non-hotel, and hotels. So congratulations, both of you, and all the very best. Stay tuned. You know, it is said that if you give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. But if you teach him how to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. Our next presenter is in the business of teaching people how to fish. That is building human capital. Allow me to introduce you to Megan Mollison. Working in the tourism industry was always her passion, and so she pursued this since 1996 when she joined TPDCO. What can I tell you? Another veteran, 25 years of service. She pursued postgraduate studies in tourism management at the University of Birmingham and is the Western Region Training Manager at TPDCO, with responsibility to plan, develop, and coordinate training programs for tourism employees in that neck of the woods. She's a distinguished president of the Kiwanis Club of Montego Bay and is guided by the philosophy: the difference between ordinary and extraordinary is just a little extra. Help me to welcome Megan as we look at TPDCO's training programs. Megan, good morning. You're all the way in Montego Bay. How you do?
Good morning, Marlene.
It's good to have you. Good to have you.
Good morning to our viewers on the platform.
Yes, yes. Now, you're going to tell me a little bit about the training department. What exactly do you do? What is your responsibility in this area of TPDCO's operations?
As a training unit, we are responsible for the design, development, and facilitation of training programs to meet the needs of persons who are employed in the tourism industry and also potential employees in the tourism industry. So we are responsible for, developing training programs to meet those needs.
Mm-hmm. All right. I want you to talk to me about the trainings that are presently offered by TPDCO. What do you have on the slate of training courses at this time?
Okay, we do offer a myriad of training programs, and we also tailor-make programs to suit the needs of our clients. Just a few of the programs that we offer, because I wouldn't be able to list them here. It's
just
a lot.
Highlight the more important.
But we have our tour guide.
Right.
We have our tour guiding program. We have our flagship program, our Team Jamaica program. We offer what we call skills upgrading program. So we offer housekeeping training. We offer professional butler service training, landscaping training. We offer bartending skills, supervisor management, management development. We also offer protocol and professional etiquette. We offer a customer service excellence, dining room skills, kitchen sanitation and safety. And we are also the unit that does the sensitization, COVID-19 tourism protocol sensitization for the tourism industry.
Yes, we saw you earlier on talking about one of the entities, some specifics for an entity. Yes. That was part of our prelude to today's program. What are the requirements, though, for enrolling in your training courses, all these programs? Do I have to be a part of the tourism sector, for example?
Okay, for some of our programs, it would be required, it's a requirement to be a part of the sector because, as I said before, some of our programs are skills upgrading programs. So they are short courses designed for persons who are already employed in the tourism industry and would need just refresher skills. Mm-hmm. There are other programs that we offer that will meet the needs of persons in and out of the tourism industry. So it depends. If it is a skills upgrading, then you might already have to be in the tourism industry. But right. for example, our Team Jamaica program, that...
Yes. And we're going to talk a little bit more about Team Jamaica, but how do I get involved? How do I request to join a program to become a part of these training sessions? And where and how are they offered? I'm in Kingston. Can I access it here? What? Tell me. How do I get into your program?
So to get onto our training programs, you can visit our website at tpdco.org. You can contact any of our regional offices, and you will be transferred to the tourism training unit, and we will take you through the process. You have to complete a registration form, and then the information will be shared with you. We also offer our programs virtually. Especially since last year, we've been offering programs virtually as well. So if you register, depending on the program, you can also join a virtual session.
And can I use this certification to get a job? Because that's kind of a very, very important aspect of, especially in these times. Can I use it to get a job?
Okay, as my colleague Cheryl Lewis had mentioned, there are some areas that will require certification from TPDCO for you to enter the tourism industry. So there are some of our programs, like our tour guides and our Team Jamaica. The other areas, it's sometimes a requirement by your organization for the employees to join our training program. However, the training that we offer, it really helps to complement the skills that you would have. So it is an added value when you have a TPDCO training certification when you are seeking employment. It shows that you would have gone through the national training program that will help to, make you more marketable and make you a more customer service oriented employee, so.
And can I request customized training? Let's say as an organization, I have some specific needs. Can I come to TPDCO and request customized training for my staff?
Sure. You can do so. You may contact with us. What we will do, a team will come to the entity and we'll do a training needs assessment, and we'll see exactly what it is that you need, what are your weak areas, what areas you need strengthening, and then we will design a particular program to meet your needs. And we will come on location and offer the training on property for you. So we do that, we call that an in-house training.
Okay. One of the programs that I think TPDCO is very well known for, and it is in fact our flagship training program, is the Team Jamaica program. You might have heard the song, Team Jamaica, take me advice, make we country nice, join Team Jamaica. All right, so what is Team Jamaica? Tell me.
The Team Jamaica program is really a movement for the improvement of quality customer service. And this program seeks to provide the tourism employees with the knowledge, interpersonal skills, and the right attitude to deliver quality customer service. So once you have gone through the Team Jamaica program, you'd have garnered all that information that will help you to deliver excellent customer service. And on completion of a Team Jamaica program, we see changes in the delivery of the service that you.
Well, I believe it is something that I can speak to personally, having been a part of the very, very first Train the Trainer program, which was initiated by TPDCO when this program started. And I'm still as excited about Team Jamaica as I was 25 years ago when I did it, So I'm a proud trainer of the program, and I'm a proud graduate of the program. But tell our folks listening in, watching us this morning, what can be expected from the Team Jamaica training? When you come, what do you get? I think you're muted, Megan. I'm not hearing you. Go ahead.
No, I'm not. Team Jamaica, are you hearing me now?
Yes, I am.
Okay. The Team Jamaica program is really, it's a very engaging training program. It's not a straight lecture class. You will be in a class, one day will last for a maximum of, say, 4 hours. But it's about having fun while you learn. The Team Jamaica program looks at teamwork, because the team actually means together everyone achieves more. That's what the team in Team Jamaica means. So it's really an acronym. We look at the history of Jamaica. It provides you with information on our tourism product. So we look at the history of Jamaica, and we will take you from the days of the Taino right up to you're looking at our slave trade, all of that. We'll share the information. We'll be looking at cultural awareness. And when we look at cultural awareness, we look at our folklore, we look at our music, and it's a program that you join the Team Jamaica program, you come, you learn to you dance, you actually cook, because we also speak about our traditional Jamaican cuisine, and the participants actually prepare a traditional Jamaican cuisine and take the class. So it's like the highlight of the program. Yes. We look at our music, our dance,
our Jamaican personalities.
You do a lot of team activities. Yes, and a class has various different personalities, various persons from different backgrounds, different levels within the organization, but you're in the same class. Very, very interesting, exciting, exhilarating program. And we're all just so passionate about Team Jamaica.
Indeed. So we know, Megan, that everybody qualifies to participate in Team Jamaica, but is there a minimum age or an age limit to participate? You have to be how young, how old? I don't know. You tell me.
We have for 16, at the age of 16 and 16. Older, okay. Because we do have students who are in 5th form at the high school, and they probably want to pursue a career in tourism. So at the end of their years of study at high school, they will register and do the Team Jamaica program to get a better feel of what happens and know a little bit more about the tourism industry. And I might just put a plug here that the Herbert Morrison High School in Montego Bay many years ago, maybe almost 10 years ago, was the first high school that had fifth form students at the end of their school year registering and completing a Team Jamaica program. And so when they graduated from high school, they also had their high school diploma as well as their Team Jamaica
certification.
So, yeah.
All right, I think in all of what you've said, Megan, it is very evident that this training is important and that there are benefits not just to the individual who is participating, but to their organization and to our tourism family and to Jamaica by extension. In this COVID-19 time, how is the training, the Team Jamaica training, now being delivered? Tell me about that.
Okay, thank you. So last year when we were really on a lockdown, we have our approved training partners, and these are partners who offer the program on our behalf. And what we did last year was, because persons were at home, we actually switched the gear and we transitioned the Team Jamaica program into a virtual training. And so Team Jamaica is offered on Zoom. Team Jamaica is offered in the evening, in the night time. So, and what the good thing that happened was that there were persons who were working in the tourism industry for many years, but maybe they just did not get that time to register and sit in a full program. And we find that a lot of them came out now because they were at home and they could have classes in the evening or so. We've actually had persons from overseas. We've had persons from as far as France, as
doing the
Germany,
program,
as Switzerland, joining Team Jamaica online.
Wow.
You know, so we're touching the Jamaican diaspora with that program as well. Yes.
I remember Cheryl earlier on alluding to the fact that some of the certifications, the licensing categories require Team Jamaica training. So tell me, is this required to enroll in other training programs?
Yes, for Team
ones.
Jamaica as well as for tour guiding. So if persons are interested in becoming a tour guide or getting certification on even seeking a job as a tour guide, they have to participate in the Team Jamaica and be certified, and also the tour guiding certificate.
All right, so it is a prerequisite. It's a prerequisite for the tour guiding program. And do employers in the sector require that people be Team Jamaica certified? In the tourism sector, yes?
Yes, they do require. So as I said, for craft and for transportation, you must be Team Jamaica certified. For tour guiding, you must be Team Jamaica certified. For some of our accommodation, they require that the employees must be Team Jamaica certified. And what they also do is once they hire them, and we as TPDCO go into the properties and conduct the Team Jamaica training for them.
Okay, so persons will get their lovely Team Jamaica certificate at the end of the program, and I know you have special awards like Best Presenter and those kinds of things. We can't get into that now. But what if I lose or forget to collect my certificate? Is there a time limit that TPDCO puts on this for you to collect it?
We still, persons are usually very excited about the certificate, so they will come. But you do have one or two persons who might not come as they should to collect the certificate. What we do is we try to make contact with them so that they can come as quickly as possible to collect the certificate. But we will have the certificates in our office. If you lose your certificate, however, what we do is that we do not at the moment have a reprint of the certificate. So you will get a letter, a verification letter from us that will verify that you would have completed the program and you're certified, and the verification letter also states the date that you completed the program. And that verification letter is accepted if you need to pursue any other licensing processing or so. That letter is accepted once it comes signed and stamped from PPD.
Okay, so we've heard that we've had to pivot in the pandemic times to online, but we do know that the program was always offered as a face-to-face, highly interactive session. And you can request to join the program by just calling our offices or coming into any of our 6 offices island-wide and requesting to be trained. But in recent times, in order to extend its tentacles farther and wider, TPDCO has gotten into an arrangement persons may hear the term approved training partner. What is that? Who is an approved training partner, and how do I access these persons for this Team Jamaica program?
Approved training partners are trainers who would deliver the Team Jamaica program. So what we do is we no longer offer what we call open sector. Open sector is where individuals would come in and register with us. So what we do is we do more of the in-house or the group training, and the partners, they are the ones who will register the open sector programs. And they offer the program on our behalf, by our standards, and what we do, we will come on location and monitor. So the program is monitored by TPDCO, and then the certification comes through TPDCO.
Okay, so you can feel free if you're in the open sector and you see somebody advertising to say they're an approved training partner of TPDCO and they're offering the program, you can feel very comfortable with applying to participate in any of those programs. Okay, Megan.
Our partners are listed on the TPDCO website.
Yes. All right, we seem to be having a little bit of a challenge with a little delay from your end. So what I'm going to do before we wrap up with the whole business of tour guiding, because I want us to touch on tour guiding a little bit before we go, I'm going to just ask a few questions. And of course, if persons have questions for you, then they can also put them in the chat. And I'd love to be able to pull those from Oshin, who is monitoring the chat. But let me just give the questions that I have now for the giveaways, and then I'll just come back to talk a little bit about the training programs. Now, my question here says, name 2 training programs offered by TPDCO. Name 2 training programs offered by TPDCO. Put your answer in the chat to win a basket or a little bag of goodies from TPDCO. And we also have another question. What is the name? Boy, I just gave away this answer a while ago, But what is the name given to the individuals or companies that deliver the Team Jamaica training on behalf of TPDCO? What is the name given to the individuals or companies that deliver the Team Jamaica training on our behalf? And I gave the answer just before this break. Let me see if we have any questions for Megan as I ask her to tell me a little bit about becoming a tour guide. What are the modules involved in this tour guiding program? We did hear that you have to do Team Jamaica first and then you can do tour guiding. But how do you request the training? What are the modules involved? Over to you, Megan.
So the tour guide training, what we do is a skills training program, and it really looks at tour guiding techniques. Hence, the Team Jamaica program is twinned with the tour guiding, because the Team Jamaica program would offer you that product knowledge, that's the same information on Jamaica, on our culture, that you would share whilst you're doing your tour. So for the tour guide training, what is looked at is effective use of microphones. So we do microphone techniques, how to manage a tour group, how to deal with difficult situation, how to just control a group when you're on your tour. Also, we look at offering tour, whether it is on a bus tour, what do you do? How do you conduct a tour on a moving bus? Or how do you conduct a tour at a stationary location? So we look at those as well. And then what we use now is the product knowledge from Team Jamaica and how you would effectively deliver by what you would have learned from your tour guiding techniques training.
Right. So having done the Team Jamaica program, you really should be quite rounded and have that product knowledge to bolster your tour and to be able to share information with our visitors who come to our shore. 1 or 2 benefits of being a tour guide. Your thoughts?
Being a tour guide in here, it's an opportunity for you to get to showcase your country to your visitors. It's an opportunity for you to share, about Jamaica that we love so much. We invite our visitors to come into our island. So being a tour guide is really an opportunity for you to get to showcase your country, to tell more about your country, Jamaica, and hopefully our visitors will enjoy it and like what they see or hear, and they would want to tell others to come and experience that. So it's really a privilege for a tour guide to be able to showcase Jamaica to the rest of the world, you know.
All right. Thank you, Megan. At this time, we're going to take any questions that our viewers may have for you, Megan. And we're asking them to place them in the chat. I don't know if O'Shane is ready for us. Meantime, just to let you know that we're going to ask for your feedback on how we've been doing so far. And this feedback is really to help us to do better. And we're going to invite you to answer some questions that will come up momentarily on your screen as we just poll your response. But just before we go to the poll, let me go to O'Shane to see if she has any questions, further questions for you, Megan, or any answers to the questions that we asked earlier on. Name 2 training programs offered by TPDCO, and what is the name given to the individuals or companies that deliver the Team Jamaica training? And I'm going to throw one extra one in the mix. Name 1 training that requires a Team Jamaica certification. 1 training that requires a Team Jamaica certification. O'Shane is bobbing and weaving between Zoom, I believe, and Facebook and YouTube, and trying to get questions for you as well as answers to the questions that we asked earlier on. Is she ready for us?
I'm ready.
All right, so talk to me now.
All right, so we have 2 winners, Marlene Lampart, Murray, and Akil.
Marlene
and to the question, other than the Team Jamaica and tour guide, what other courses are offered at the Negril location?
Megan, did you hear that question?
All our courses are offered. Yes, thanks for that question. All our courses are offered throughout the island. So the ones that I list, they're all offered in Negril or wherever, all the resort areas or wherever you are. If it is an in-house, we will come and deliver, or it could be done in your region at central location. But they're all offered in Negril as well. Just contact the office and we will contact you and make arrangement for the training.
Okay, so Negril is not left out.
I hope that answers. No, not at all.
All right. Congratulations then to Marlene and Akil for winning the prizes for those 2 questions asked. Any 2 training programs offered by TPDCO, and what name is given to the individuals or companies that deliver the Team Jamaica program, and their approved training partners. So congrats, Marlene and Akil. And if we have no more questions, O'Shane, and if we don't have an answer to the question, name 1 training that requires a Team Jamaica certification, we can take the answer as we go along, so we don't have to have it immediately. What I would like to do is at this time to launch a poll and ask our viewers to answer these simple questions to allow us to benefit from your feedback. It will appear on your screen, and we ask that you just take the time. You have a minute. We don't have a lot of time, but you do have a minute to answer those questions. As we ask you to rate our performance thus far. Remember, this is an anonymous poll, so you don't have to be shy. Just go ahead and answer the questions as quickly as possible, and we will move on. And we're seeing the percentages coming in. And we certainly hope that you have been benefiting from the information that we have been sharing thus far. O'Shane, in the meantime, do we have any more questions for Megan before we wrap up with her? And do we have an answer to that final question? Name 1 training that requires a Team Jamaica certification. Mr. Zoom Master, you let me know when my 1 minute is up. So, okay, so I believe we're about 2 seconds from ending this poll. So we thank you for your participation, and we will check in with you again later on for another feedback from you from a different perspective. Thank you, Mr. Zoom Master. And thank you very much, Megan, for joining us this morning and for sharing quite a bit of information with us from tour guiding to Team Jamaica and the myriad of other training programs that TPDCO has to offer. We want to congratulate you and, of course, the team, which is across all of our regions. And we want to also hail our executive training manager, Ruth, I almost said Lambert, but she's now Dennis, yes? So we want to just congratulate you all for a job well done. Thank you.
Thank you, and it was my pleasure. And I just want to thank the team, tourism training team.
And please stay with us, Megan. Stay with us. We have quite a bit more to go. We have some of our stakeholders that will be sharing with us, you know, from their own perspective, some of the things that they have been doing in order to stay resilient and to stay strong in these very trying times. So thank you, my dear. Good to have you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you may recall March 2020. We were in full flight when suddenly it was as if everything just stopped and we were plunged into lockdown. I remember that very vividly because it was just before our Tourism Service Excellence Awards and I was just so brokenhearted. But anyway, COVID-19 reared its ugly head and sent many businesses toppling, not just in Jamaica, but across the world. These were, indeed unprecedented times, and businesses had to and still have to become inventive to remain afloat. Many are still struggling, and some have unfortunately closed. Weathering the COVID-19 pandemic is ongoing, and no one was spared, large and small businesses. So you can imagine if large and medium-sized businesses were adversely affected, you can imagine how it has been for small and micro players in the industry. I'm pleased now to be joined by one such small business owner who is a survivor. He is Waldy Christus, a man of many parts, who some 18 years ago started the Reliable Adventures Jamaica Tour Company based in Bluefields, Westmoreland. And I'll tell you, ladies and gentlemen, this is one of the places that you'll find the most beautiful sunsets in Jamaica. His business is also known as Raj Tours. And according to their website, www.jamaicabirding.com, the business was born out of a passion for caring for the environment and a desire to create international awareness of our vast treasure house of endemic flora and fauna. Currently, he manages 12 local community guides who are trained in flora, fauna, and local history, as well as, you heard it, Team Jamaica, tour guiding, security, and life-saving skills training. Christus is also a powerhouse in the improvement of Bluefields and its surrounding communities. He's the chairman of the Bluefields Community Development Committee, which facilitates the development of local community-based organizations. He's also a member of the White House Development Area Committee, and his collective involvement has resulted in more than $350,000 in development funds. Waldy Christus has also been instrumental in hosting fundraisers geared at promoting sustainable fishing practices. Mr. Christus's love for the environment is evident in both his business and personal life. Between 2006 and 2019, he secured over 200 housing units for needy persons and was instrumental in the eco-development of Bluefields Basic School, which has benefited from a rainwater treatment plant, rainwater harvesting, and solar systems. He's a Tourism Service Excellence Awardee, and his has been a long-standing contribution to the local tourism sector. Welcome, Waldy Christus. It's so good to have you. How you do? Are you hearing me, Waldy?
If I complain, I would be yes, I'm hearing you. If I complain, I would be mentally ill. Life is treating me well.
Ah, my dear, what can I tell you? We give thanks in all things. Tell me a little bit about Reliable Adventures Jamaica before we get into anything else.
Yes, Reliable Adventures Jamaica, as you stated earlier, it really created out of my passion. There are two passions that link to Reliable Adventures Jamaica. One is the environment. You know, I really know that this earth is our home, and if we don't take care of it, then the rest of the inhabitants of earth is going to get rid of us and go on without us. So we have to start to be kind to everything else that are on this earth if we want to stay. And the second one is people. I like to see people happy. I like to see people life improving. I like to know that persons are enjoying life. And so Raj Store is set up in order to make people happy. So when I pick up the guests at the airport, they're tired of many things, so they run to Jamaica. And by the time I pick them up, start to talk to them, introduce them to our local stuff, maybe a red stripe or so, they start smiling. So I know the medicine is working. And by the time they're leaving, they're dying to come back to get more of this medicine. So just taking care of people.
All right. So I know what inspired you to become a tour operator. Your love and belief in preservation of the environment and your love for people. Describe a day in the life of the operator of Raj Stores.
Again, being out in nature. So whatever we do, we end up in nature, whether it is a hiking, birding, nature walk, nature drive, whatever we do, we end up in the environment. So you would start out where we pick you up at your hotel, bring you to the community of Bluefields, and we take you up into the mountain everywhere to make sure you enjoy our local hospitality, cuisine, you know, whatever you want to know about the real Jamaica.
Yes.
That's what we offer, because our tagline is that when you choose Reliable Adventures Jamaica, you're guaranteed an authentic experience.
Yes, and that is such an important word, authentic. You know, while you've been inviting me to come to check out the birds in Bluefields for quite some time, and I have not yet taken you up on that offer, but I will, and I promise you soon, sooner than later. It just takes you very close.
Well, I'm looking
close
I'm
to
looking
the authentic
forward
Jamaica.
because given that you're one of the integral, given that you're one of the integral person within the training area and product quality area, I want you to experience my product and see the quality.
All right. I'm going to take you up on that, Waldy. But tell me now, what are some of the benefits of having a tour business such as the one you have?
Well, the first, I would like to say the vast amount of knowledge which I obtained from having it, just meeting people, sharing knowledge on either side. I've met persons of different professions around the world and from around the world, and they have really imparted vast amount of knowledge and which they have experienced, and that's my greatest take from it. The next thing is the long-term bond and relationships that I've really created out of these relationships. You know, it's everlasting, and I really love, you know, some of them are now going back as far back as when I started. The other part to it is the financial benefit, you know, being able to generate the capital in order to grow. Yes. And for the people who are participating to grow and to see them growing from the financial benefits.
Right.
And the last part to it, it's being able to maintain my passion, because I realize that when you are doing what you love, you never work a day. You're always having fun.
Yes. It's good that, you know, you can pursue your passion and it can become an income generator for you and a means by which you can employ persons from your community and get them involved and really get them to be a part of this overall product. But I'm sure there are challenges, and COVID-19 is perhaps just one of them. But what are some of the challenges that you have as, you know, this sort of community-based type of entity?
Let me say to you is that being a small entity, you're not exposed to a lot of capital. So it means that any shock is going to, you're going to feel it maybe even earlier than some other entities would. And Reliable Adventures Jamaica has not escaped that. We were hoping and praying that COVID wouldn't hit our shores. But when it did, I can remember on the 14th of March, when things started, 2020, when things started to shut down, I was like, what do we do now? And what we have done, we have used up our resources because we were saving up to it. And one of the things that I would recommend to persons is that for small businesses, you need to be investing so you can have that capital, some capital to deal with. And that is what we were doing at Raj. So some of that capital we used in order to stay afloat. And I have also been getting personal loans, and I've been getting donations from many who have come to our rescue in order to assist the process. For me personally, I also, before COVID, made investment into other things such as an April business, and that has been helping, where I provide that sweet nectar.
Oh, and it is such a lovely product.
Been assisting the process.
Having sampled that product, I can endorse it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Tell me the name of it again.
I've come up with different methods.
Tell me the name of that honey. What's the brand? Tell me the brand of the honey.
Bluefields Gold.
Bluefields Gold.
Bluefields Gold.
Yes, yes. And I truly can endorse that one. So how do you manage that?
Come again?
Go ahead. There's a little delay. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yes. How do I manage?
How do you manage to stand out from similar businesses in this kind of field?
Again, I always said to the person that 9/11 was a rehearsal. If you remember, with 9/11, everything shut down. All planes were grounded. No guests were coming in. And I always said it was a rehearsal. So persons who were around then would have gotten an idea of what it was like for things to be halted. Now, when you're in the tourism sector, we know that tourism and the entertainment sector or the hospitality sector are the two areas, whenever you have crisis or whenever you have pandemics, are the two areas that tend to shut down first, because the movement of people, that is going to be affected, crowd gathering going to be affected, those kind of things. So one of the things that I did, because I did the CEFE program, which I learned about business. This is one of the things that TPDCO used to offer, which is introduction to business.
Yes.
I learned that, listen, I'm in a fragile sector, and I need to make sure that I plan for it. And that is what we did at Raj. We planned for it, and it is giving us a better, put us in a better position to weather the storm.
Right. You have actually shared with us some of the means by which you've been able to pivot, shift a bit, innovate a bit in order to stay afloat. And with the previous experience that you've had, you've really been able to just continue to do business, whether it is on a reduced scale or not. And you were mentioning your apiary business with the production of honey and all of that. Is there anything else that you've really had to, pull on in order to continue earning?
Again, I'm in the environmental sector and volunteered at the Bluefields Bay Fishermen's Friendly Society for the past 10 years. But one of the things that I get is a small stipend in order to manage the Bluefields Bay Fish Sanctuary. And that's one way in which some of the personal things You know, you can deal with your personal bills, some of them.
Right.
And as I said, persons, whenever you're dealing with guests, I recommend that you be kind, you be loving, as Jamaica is known for. Because a lot of those guests contacted me and said, Waldy, how are you doing?
Wow.
And when I tell them my true situation, they said, Waldy, how can I help? And I said, well, how can you help? And many have come to my support without my even had to ask. Yes. You know, some have offered loans, some have offered grants. You know, it's just amazing. And also, one entity that we work with is called JaWorks, and we do rainwater catchment in Bluefields. And one of the things that they came up with is for us to continue to do the rainwater catchment, and they'll pay us to do so. And that's even one way in which we maintain paying some of the bills. You know, it's just, as I said, people just around the world are loving and kind and really want to help. And I really want to say thanks to all those who have come, you know, but at the same time, really want to say the world cares. It cares, and it cares a lot. And I am a beneficiary.
Share with you in such a way that would allow you to, on the 28th of July, still be able to be operating your business, even though it's scaled back, and to have a lot of hope for the future. And that's important. So as I close, Waldy, what advice do you give to other small businesses, many, you know, that are still struggling, and I know the struggle continues? What do you say to them?
Many years ago, I read this booklet, 21 Reasons Why Black People are Poor. And one of the things that it says in it is that there is so much capital around us. Some of the times our relatives, friends, many people around us, they do have extra funding sometimes that they would like to invest in growing you, but they have to trust you. They have to trust you that you're going to be paying back your loans. So they have to trust you that if they do give you a grant, that you are going to use it for the purpose that was intended. Mm-hmm. Persons want to build, and you must build that kind of trust between you and your supporters, so you can continue to get support from your lending institutions. The bank, I took out a loan from the bank and bought a bus, and just before COVID, the December of 2019, I paid my last loan. And as a result, the bank is knocking on my door, said, how can we help you? How can, you know, so again, that trust that you build up over a period of time, be kind, be loving to the people who you meet. And I guarantee you that life will take care of you when you give off your true self, when you give off your best. Life will take care of you. But just be honest, just be kind, just be you know, respectful of relationships, and, you know, and I guarantee you that you'll be okay.
Waldy Christus, well said, and thank you so much for joining us this morning on our 25th anniversary webinar. You know, there are many things that can be learned from what you've shared with us this morning for other small micro enterprises that are part of this industry. And the takeaway for me is, of course, the importance of building relationships that are based on trust, kindness, and, you know, it might sound very simple, but it is really very, very important. Thank you, Waldy. I'm looking forward to coming to do the birding tour. And I need some honey, please, some Bluefields
Definitely. Yes.
Thank you so much.
Yes, it's a plum pleasing pleasure. It's a plum pleasing pleasure to have been to share, and I will continue to hear what others have to share. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Please stay with us, Waldy. It has been my pleasure. And I'm coming down there not just for the honey, but to enjoy those beautiful sunsets that are in Bluefields in the parish of Westmoreland. God bless. You know, we can always learn from the experiences of others. And as we share best practices in dealing with the pandemic, it's my pleasure to welcome from Negril, the other end of the island, Kimika Beckford. Ms. Beckford has been working in the tourism industry for over 15 years, and most recently 8 years spent with the Blue Diamond Hotel and Resorts. She's currently in the capacity of sales manager for the Negril Properties, and you may know their brand. The brand name is Royalton Resorts. She's a certified hospitality supervisor, CHS, from the AHLEI, that's the American Hotel and Lodging Education Institute. And she holds a diploma from the University of the West Indies in sales and marketing, and also one in project management. COVID-19 has taught her to make the best of life while you can. At her workplace, the team sticks together and supports each other. Safety comes first, and that is why her team is always up to date with all the guidelines and protocols. You heard Mrs. Keating Campbell mention them earlier on. The team's staff and the safety of her guests is of paramount importance. Let's welcome this passionate lady from the accommodations subsector to the virtual lectern. Good morning, Ms. Beckford. How are you? Are you hearing me, Kimika? Kimika? Are you muted? All right. Tell me a little bit about Royalton and its offerings. I see your mouth going, but I'm not hearing you, so I'm not sure if you're muted. Tell me a little bit about the offerings at Royalton Resorts. What makes Royalton unique?
Good morning, and thank you for having me. Of course, what makes Royalton unique? We are an all-inclusive, of course, and we're a family resort. We have three family resorts in Jamaica and also 2 adults only. We are all in connectivity. That means you can even order your room service online. Are you hearing me correct? Are you hearing me clearly?
I'm hearing you clearly now, yes.
Excellent. And of course, we provide an unlimited hassle-free dining. So persons don't have to worry when they come to our Royalton luxury properties. We have hassle-free dining, so they can walk right in and they don't have to make any reservations. We are very much hassle-free. Also, we do have a uniqueness as it relates to our bedding. It is our dream beds. It is made specially for Royalton properties. It's a split zone in terms of if you're on the bed, if your child is jumping on the bed, or if you're jumping on the bed, the other person would not even feel it because it is very compound and it's hypoallergenic as well. So that is very unique to our brand. No other brand has that.
Dream beds.
Very unique to our brand.
Okay.
Dream beds. We call them the dream beds. So it's you sleep in comfort and style.
All right. Tell me, how has being a licensed accommodation been beneficial to you, both at the local level and internationally?
It has been beneficial to us because it gives customers a level of confidence while they're booking our resorts. They know that we are COVID certified, we're licensed, and their safety comes first. So when they go on the Brazilian corridor, they can actually find all of our properties that are listed there. So we're operating on very much licensed. They feel safe, they feel comfortable that we're actually following the guidelines that is set forth for us.
Okay. And I know you have a number of team players who are Team Jamaica trained. What would you say are the benefits of having your team members trained in Team Jamaica?
It's a major benefit for us because we are customer centric. And of course, Team Jamaica brings that level of customer service. It also gives our host a sense of confidence, and they're more aware of how to handle our guests and also their peers. So their customer service level has increased, and of course we have seen changes in their productivity, in their approach to certain things, because of course with COVID-19, this pandemic, it has taught us, to be very resilient and to be very confident in what we do. So they're more aware of the customer service that they need to give to our guests, and also with their peers, they understand the level of service to be applied. Go Team Jamaica.
All right. Well, the COVID-19 pandemic has caused a major shift for all businesses. You heard Waldy, as a smaller business operator out of Bluefields, talk about some of his challenges and how he has been able to stay afloat and to pivot. Can you share with us any sort of changes that Royalton had to make? Describe for us some of the modifications that you would have made to different areas. You alluded to dining earlier on, but things like your check-in, your dining, and different areas that would, in ordinary times, perhaps call for customer contact. What have you done? What changes have you had to make?
But one of the changes that we have made is we now have a web check-in. So this would actually eliminate person-to-person contact. So they will check in online, and when they arrive at the resort, only signage of their document to actually say that they're checking in at the resort. So we have our web check-ins. As it relates to dining, 70% of our restaurant, the capacity of dining, we have also made that change in terms of being very creative. Our F&B department is very creative in terms of giving other areas a highlight of having dining on the outside once weather permits. Of course, with the restaurants, we do have a beeper. So when you get to the restaurant, and when you get to the restaurant and when you present your name, we'll let you know that the table is being ready, and we'll give you a beeper so you can go by one of our hydration stations. I call them the hydration station, one of our bars. You can go and just hang out, and while we're ready for you, you will have the beeper. It will beep, and we know that it's time for you to be seated. So we have employed that as well.
Okay, so that's 70% in terms of the capacity, and as much as you can outdoor dining. Okay.
As much as we can. Usually it was 100%, but of course we're keeping with the guidelines, so the 70% of the dining capacity. So definitely we have a wide spread of in our locations where we can have outdoor dinings, like say for instance, like on the beach, we have like a reggae night, and that would have been a buffet on the beach, and other restaurants would be open. So that's another area that they can actually dine.
Okay. And are you finding that you're perhaps having more reservations in terms of dinner as opposed to just like an open buffet, which I know a lot of properties have had to make adjustments even in terms of the physical, how you can't just go and just take up anything off the line and, the usual. Have you found that your reservations for themed restaurants have gone up?
Not really, because we have 11 restaurants, especially on the Negril side, and then in Montego Bay, they're about have the same amount of restaurants. So we do have a lot of restaurants that they can choose from.
Okay.
And since it's hassle-free,
since it's hassle-free, people do take up the option of making reservations for any of these 11 restaurants.
Yes, it's very much hassle-free. We do have one restaurant within our chain in Jamaica that requires reservation, and that's the Japanese, only because it's the teppanyaki and also the sushi station. But all the others, once you go to the restaurant and we do have a seating for you, that's where the beeper comes in. We will give you the beeper once the table is ready, sanitized, then we will have the hostess take you in and seat you.
Okay. Well, I'm really happy to know that the protocols that have been established were really readily taken up by a lot of our entities in the sector. And I believe persons have really just, recognized that this is part of how we're going to stay alive. How did Royalton, how would you say you managed to stay afloat and to continue earning in this very difficult period? What would you say are some of the things that you have been able to incorporate which have allowed you to stay afloat?
Well, of course, we're one team, one dream. We have a very aggressive commercial department that is always on point how we are positioned as a brand and how we actually set ourselves apart with our comsets, which are competition. So definitely we have our rate parity. We do have how we position our brand on various platforms like like on the web or our website, Expedia, Booking.com, and also for the wholesalers and the travel agents. So we have promotions that are on the market, and we ensure that it is within range and is very much affordable, is very much attractive, so we can have our guests book us and we can keep our doors open, because when we closed and it was very hard for us, but once we reopen, we ensure that we stay reopen. We have to remain open. So we have our employees happy and also our guests happy. So our commercial department joining hands with our operations department, and of course our budgeting has to be on point, but the rate parity is what really sets us apart. And of course we're all in luxury, so we ensure that it is very much affordable for persons to book us. And we remain very relevant in the market. We're always on the platforms, so persons can actually find us very quickly in order for them to book.
And as the minister would say, you remain top of mind. Did you also benefit from perhaps some of the local market as well? Because I've seen one or two promotions that would have allowed you to, you know, capture some of the staycationers.
Yes, we benefited greatly from our local market, and you know, we want to say thank you to all of them that has been supporting us. We work very closely with our local travel agents, and we have joined hands with them in promoting. We have our group rates, we have our individual rates, and of course we have our 1 nights and our 2 nights. When we're at an occupancy that cannot accommodate same, we'll definitely reach out to them. We have also implemented our telesales, where we reach out to them on a weekly basis, just to touch base, to let them give us their feedbacks on how they're managing and what we can do for them to book us even more. So we work very closely with them, and they have been supporting Brand Royalton, and we're very happy that they're on board. So we try our utmost best to implement any promotion that will bring us the local business.
Right. So all in all, I believe Royalton has remained agile and has been aggressive in their marketing in order to make sure they capture their fair share and to be able to retain their employees, or at least bring them back as the business picks up. And we know there are challenges. We just continue to encourage persons to adhere to those protocols so that we can continue to do business, because we do know how important this industry is to all of us. You have the parting shot, Kimika, to perhaps your team members and those persons who are on this platform with us at this time. What do you say to them? What do you say to our tourism workers in Jamaica?
Well, what I want to say is that we have to stick together. We have to remain resilient as we weather this pandemic. And I want to also say thank you for just remaining steadfast and being committed as a team, as a tourism body, that, you know, we are able to assist in any way that we can to our guests and also to our peers. And we have been very flexible. I've seen a lot of flexibility being displayed by our team members, and they are very grateful and appreciative, and we are as well. And I just want to say thank you for standing with us, and we will get through this together.
Thank you so much, Kimika Beckford. One team, One Dream from the Royalton Resort.
One Dream.
Joining us this morning all the way from Negril. It has been a pleasure. As they say, stick and stay. We're here for a little while longer. We're going to now move on to another of our partners who has been listening in and who will share with us at this time. And you know, ladies and gentlemen, one of several organizations that managed to pivot and remain afloat in this pandemic is the St. Anne Development Company, SADCO. To give us an insight in how they managed during this period is Farah Blake. She is Director of Subsidiary Management at the Urban Development Corporation, and she manages the St. Anne subsidiary. SADCO has oversight of attractions such as the Green Grotto Caves, Oterius Bay Beach, and the world-famous, iconic, yes, Dunn's River Falls and Park. Farah is a graduate of the University of Technology, Jamaica, where she received a bachelor's degree with honors in business management, majoring in marketing. Ms. Blake is currently pursuing a master's degree in project management at Walden University. Her career spans banking, tourism, hospitality, as well as public and private administration.
Thank God.
Okay, Kimiko, we're hearing you. Cut your microphone, please. As public and private administration, noteworthy is her stalwart contribution to Bahia Principe, Jamaica Resort, as social relations manager, where she coordinated staff welfare programs and events with an aim to encourage collaboration among stakeholders. She gives service as a director on the board of the Rural Water Supply Limited and the Jamaica Fire Brigade, government agencies within the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development. Most recently, Ms. Blake was named parish patron by the Jamaica 4-H clubs for the parish of St. Anne and was elected as the director for the Association of Jamaica Attractions Limited, AJAL. She also launched the Phenomenal Women Foundation, geared towards female empowerment and mentorship, particularly for single mothers in the St. Anne community. Ms. Blake now joins us on the virtual platform to talk about weathering the pandemic as an attraction. Hello, Ms. Farah. How are you? Can you hear me?
Good afternoon, Marlene.
All right.
Yes, I can.
Good to have you.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm well. I'm well, thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you.
All right. Briefly highlight Dunn's River. You know, so many Jamaicans have never been to Dunn's River, as much as it's, as they say, around the corner. You'd be surprised. Tell me a little bit about Dunn's River and its offerings. What makes Dunn's River unique in comparison to perhaps similar attractions? Over to you.
Okay. All right. So Dunn's River is owned by the Urban Development Corporation and managed through its subsidiary, St. Anne Development Company. Dunn's River is noteworthy or world famous then for its falls climb. However, there are other facilities that are available at Dunn's River. We have a partnership with Choco, through which they provide a zipline tour. We have the Central Garden, which is also a recently added amenity, wherein our guests can have fun at the splash pad, which also includes a small water slide. For those guests who may not necessarily want to do the falls climb, we have an area called Tranquility Gardens, where they can enjoy the flora and fauna of that only exists maybe in Jamaica or in St. Anne, and possibly even on the Dunn's River property.
Tranquility Gardens, zip lining, a splash pad, and all of these other amenities at Dunn's River Falls, and of course a partnership with Chukka. And you know, you were just thinking, okay, you just go climb the falls, but of course remember that falls goes into the sea, so you also have the ocean as another part of that attraction. Can you highlight for us, Farah, how being a licensed COVID-19 compliant attraction has been beneficial to your organization?
Well, a national standard has been created for operating during this pandemic period. We rose to the occasion. We did everything that we were supposed to do in creating and implementing these protocols. And what our guests can be certain of is that their safety is paramount to us. The real benefit for us, though, Marlene, has been the balance between safety, fun, and the continuity of the business.
And the continuity of the business is so important for the workers who are part of your organization, and just being basically able to put bread and butter on their tables. So we understand how important that is. Again, you know, we have had to be pivoting, all of us. And the other areas that are outside of tourism understand, I believe, even more now, even more so, how important tourism is, because it is impacting all these other areas, whether it is agriculture, manufacturing, the services industry. So many areas are impacted when tourism is impacted, because we do depend very highly on this industry for our economic survival, yes? But I want to ask you, at the onset of the pandemic, what were some of the challenges that you encountered? What was, you know, there are challenges generally speaking, but from your perspective, what were some of those challenges that you had to face? And perhaps you're still facing?
Well, very immediate was the direct shift in how we did business. So on the one hand, one day we're looking at the reason we are called or known as world famous. And then the other day, our entire country is on lockdown and we're not able to deliver that iconic false climb to our guests. I think during the pandemic, what was most important for us is to maintain communication with our team, just ensuring that everybody was okay, understanding whatever personal issues they were going through, because the psychological effect was real during the lockdown.
Yes.
And so we focused on that during the lockdown period. But then now we had to prepare the business for reopening. So we did some infrastructural changes. We constructed a number of hand wash stations across the property. We had to move towards a culture shift where we had a practice of sanitization a number of different times during the day. So we're a people now, an attraction now that is firmly believing in sanitization, whether that be by hand sanitizers or by way of just simply washing your hands. We also had to go ahead and to retrain our staff, because as I heard Clifton Reeder, president of GHD, say a couple of days ago, we are now forced by way of a mask to cover up that which is renowned worldwide as our display of hospitality.
Yes.
And as such, now we have to train using body language, and we have to now be smiling with our eyes, and we have to be using hand gestures just to assure our guests that we are still that hospitable bunch. I think most importantly, and what was on a number of people's minds was how we would answer the question, how is Duns River going to do that false climb? Well, resilient as we are in Jamaica, we are equally as resilient in the UDC. We have a wealth of talent in the corporation, and through our parent company, we drew on that talent. We had environmentalists, we had business development, we had estate management, marketers, communication specialists. We had everybody coming together to do simulations to ensure that when Jamaica was ready for us, that we would have been ready for her.
Very interesting and very insightful, Farah. Retraining is something that we seem to have to be constantly doing, because, you know, sometimes we're set in our ways and we're in a cultural space that says, give a big smile, and, you know, and then when nobody's able to see that smile, how do you communicate that warmth? And these are perhaps they may seem small things, but they are big things in the context of tourism, because this is what Jamaica is known for. Our people, in addition to all of the other stuff, but our people at the center, at the heart of our service. Now, you also have to do with the Green Grotto Caves, and I think there are 2 other areas in Oterius. Did you have to bring some of these similar strategies to bear on the reopening of these other entities?
Absolutely. We had to create COVID-19 protocols that governed how we reopened to the public. And we did that across all of our attractions, and not just within St. Anne Development Company, but UDC owns attractions across the island.
Yes.
And so we had to create those protocols that would, in one sense, be general, and in another sense, be very specific to the attraction that it was catering to.
Right. So that at the end of the day, our visitors, local, foreign, wherever they come from, can be assured that they can enjoy the attractions that are managed by SADCO and the other entities that are managed by the Urban Development Corporation. They can enjoy these attractions while observing those protocols that will help to keep us safe and to keep our visitors safe. In terms of managing, in terms of your continued earning, what would you say has been part of the strategy to staying afloat and to continue earning at all of these attractions that you have responsibility for, Farah?
Well, that has been challenging because these attractions, as we have stated, are attractions. And if it is that we don't have guests coming into them, then we are not earning. But among the attractions, we do have other properties that we host weddings, we have public parks, and so we were able to use those properties to create packages that would give a different level of awareness to Jamaica as it relates to the UDC-owned properties, and would also bring us some amount of revenue. We created packages that included Green Grotto Caves, Duns River Falls Climb, and the zip line. We diversified into smaller photo packages and video packages that would see us using some of the other properties more, particularly a property like Laughing Waters. So we had to be very creative, and we had to be very agile in getting our requisite approvals, and to, brainstorming among ourselves, trying to find ways that would keep us afloat until our economy and until our industry rebounded.
Innovation and agility and resilience are words that we have become all too familiar with. What I want to do at this time, Farah, is to ask if we have any questions in the chat for either you or for Mr. Waldy Christus down there in Bluefields, or Kimika, who's down in Negril. And I'm going to give Oshin an opportunity just to run through her chat room and see if there are any questions or any comments that would be directed at either yourself or Waldy and Kimika, who I certainly hope are still online with us. And let me just go to Oshin and see if there's... Oshin, do you have anything for us at this time? For any of our special guests
I do.
who have joined us? Well, go right ahead with the question.
So for Cara, what measures are Duns River currently utilizing to maintain social distancing? Because traditionally the location has attracted large crowds. Is there a daily carrying capacity?
We have a carrying capacity that we tend to revise based on what is taking place on the property. We have a capacity for different areas, and as such, there are officers that are there to police, to ensure that our capacities are maintained, and that our guests are communicated to quickly to understand exactly what is taking place, and that they are moved from different points to ensure that there's no real wait period to interrupt pretty much their fun.
Okay, great. There's another one. Will there be more development to Duns River in the near future?
Of course. We have been slowed by the pandemic, but prior to the pandemic, we had a huge developmental plan that would be undertaken in phases. What this pandemic has done for us, though, is to help us to put as greater priority some of these ideas that we had and weren't really ready to launch them. Case in point, we had our brand refresh launch recently, where we have now a new logo and new tagline. And so we were able to refine that over the pandemic and able to launch it since the attractions have been reopened. We have a number of other exciting things. I will not let too much I won't let the cat out of the bag, but we have some very exciting things that are coming on stream for both our local and international guests. So we invite you to look out for it.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. We have two for Kimika. Does Royalton have a specialist program for travel agents? And also, how has Royalton been able to keep the staff motivated and productive during this time?
As it relates to our local travel agents, we have an incentive plan just to be creative, and this is also based on the amount of bookings that we receive. Then we tabled, and then we will actually inform the travel agents what are the incentives that we have for them. Then they will be called like individually. But for the local platform, it's not like we have like a point system set up for the local platform. For the international platform, which is USA, we do have a BD rewards program, so they can actually go on that platform, and the points, they can use their points to book at other Royalton resorts, and also the one in Jamaica. Do we have a point system coming in the near future for our local travel agents? Yes, we do, because of course we can't do without them. But we do have special rates for travel agents and their families if they want to, come to our resorts and enjoy all of our offerings that we have. So on that aspect, we do have that. What was the other question? Sorry, can you repeat the other question for me?
Is it a specialist program for travel agents, or you? The
other question.
Okay. How has Royalton been able to keep the staff motivated and productive during this time?
Of course, we join hands again, Team Jamaica. We join hands again with Team Jamaica, and of course, we identify areas where we need help, and that's where that's where Team Jamaica would come in terms of the customer service, in terms of the awareness. And we do have our briefing sessions, our coaching sessions, we have our role plays, so they're interactive with their peers, and they're also comfortable. And with that, we motivate them. We do have our TripAdvisor competition based on our friendliness and all of our good attributes that we have, that we display with our guests. Once their name is mentioned, we do have our raffles, we do have our outreach programs, we do have a lot of things on the back end for our staff, for them to be motivated. And of course, in my area, which is sales and marketing, I always let them know that, hey guys, if you give me this amount of room nights and how creative you can be, we can give you a day pass to go to the other properties, or we have phone cards, because of course Digicel is also one of our players, and they from time to time we do barters, they give us phone cards, and of course we give to the staff. They have chances of winning a lot of things when we have our competition among us. So we're one big happy family here at Royalton. We care, and of course we're passionate people making vacation dreams come true.
There's one last question for Farah. How have the craft producers and traders been facilitated at Duns River and other UDC facilities against the backdrop of the new normal?
Well, that's a very interesting question, because our craft traders at Duns River Falls and Park, they are a part of the product. And as such, any protocol that we implement would also include and involve them. There has been a facility through the UN Women Program that has given a grant to female craft vendors recently. And as such, that is one of the ways that the women have benefited. The government has also issued, they've created facilities that would help to alleviate some of the issues that craft vendors were having during the lockdown. But our craft vendors are very important to us. They exist as part of our product, and anything that we do, any measures that we take are taken with them in full account.
All right. Thank you very much, Farah. Is that it, Ocean? And if you're combing, let me ask a couple of questions in the meantime, because I do have a few more goodie bags that I'd like to give away. And one of my questions is, what is the name of the business featured today that offers bird tours or birding tours? What is the name of the business that we featured today? You heard from the owner operator earlier on, and they offer birding tours. And another question, in 2020, Jamaica's tourism sector closed briefly due to the COVID-19 pandemic. When was it reopened? Can you tell me? When was it reopened? And another question, see, I'm giving you all of the questions. You can just place the answers in the chat, and the first correct one that we get will win a prize. What is the name of TPDCO's flagship training program? What is the name of TPDCO's flagship training program? And this one is so easy that I shouldn't even give it to you, but I'll give it anyway. How many years is TPDCO celebrating? How many years is TPDCO celebrating? And the final question, name the attraction considered to be Jamaica's most iconic attraction. Name the attraction considered to be Jamaica's most iconic attraction. So you have 5 questions there, 5 opportunities to win a prize. And then we're going to check in with Oshin one final time to see if she has any additional questions or comments for us. And then we're going to be gathering our stuff together to make our way out of here for this 25th anniversary webinar hosted by the Tourism Product Development Company Limited. Oshin, do you have anything for us?
There are no more questions at this time.
No more questions at this time. All right, so go ahead and answer the questions, but while you're doing that, we have a little poll for you. So in our prelude to the webinar, you got an appetizer of or featured performer or featured entertainer. But before we bring him on, let's have that poll so we can get your feedback. Mr. Zoom Master, let us have poll number 2 as we ask our viewers to check this one out and give us your answers, give us your feedback. And as you give us your feedback, you're also welcome to give us the answers to the questions that we posed earlier on and win yourself an opportunity to win one of our, here we go, one of our goodie bags. One minute to do this exercise. We appreciate your responses, as this will certainly help us to improve our next encounter. What is the name of TPDCO's flagship training program? How many years is TPDCO celebrating? Name the attraction considered to be Jamaica's most iconic attraction. In 2020, Jamaica's tourism sector closed briefly due to COVID-19 pandemic. When was it reopened? And what is the name of the business featured today that offers birding tours? Those were your questions. And as soon as you have completed your poll, you've completed your answers, then we're very happy to take those questions. And even if we don't take them on air, we certainly will get back to our winners as we're on the home stretch right now to wrap up our webinar for today. Mr. Zoom Master, how much time do we have left? You can see the answers coming in. And I believe we have a second to go, so the poll will close now. And I want to thank you for your participation. And as I was saying earlier on in our prelude to the webinar, you got an appetizer of our featured entertainer. Now you get a chance for another bite of Mr. Audley Scott. Audley is not only a friend, but he's a renowned musician, a singer, performer, keyboardist, producer, and one-man band operating out of Montego Bay. He's accredited by the Royal School of Music and has been performing for well over 30 years locally and internationally. He has produced 6 albums to date and is the founder of Harmony Factory Music Productions with a recording studio in Montego Bay. He comes to whet your musical appetite and to harmonize positive music and minds. A virtual round of applause for Audley Scott.
Back to the days of the sky. In Jamaica, there was a family of much confusion, as you would see. There was a mama, a papa, a boy who had grown, who wanted to marry a wife of his own. He found him a girl that suited him nice. He went to his papa to ask his advice. His papa says, son, I got to say no. The girl is your sister, but your mama don't know. Oh, misery, shame and scandal in the family. Oh, misery, shame and scandal in the family. The weeks went by, the summer came down. Soon the best girl on the island he found. Well, he went to his papa to name a date. Papa says, son, you know I got to debate. You can't marry that girl. I got to say no. She also your sister, but your mama don't know. Oh, misery, shame and scandal in the family. Oh, misery, shame and scandal in the family. Went to his mama, he covered his head. Told his mama what his papa had said. Well, his mama, she laughed, saying, go man, go. Your daddy ain't your daddy, but your daddy don't know. Oh, misery, shame and scandal in the family. Oh, misery, shame and scandal in the family. Oh, misery, shame and scandal in the family. Oh, misery, shame and scandal in the family.
All right.
Hey. Cha-cha-cha.
Cha-cha-cha. Thank you very much. Much appreciated, Audley. You know, we wouldn't come this morning without a little bit of entertainment to ease us in and to ease us out. Now, there's a final request before we close, a final poll to seal the deal. But I also have some good news. Royalton is offering a day pass for 2 adults and a child. If someone can tell us in the chat how many properties are here in Jamaica under the Royalton brand. So a day pass for 2 adults and a child, if you can tell us how many properties are under the Royalton brand. So while you're doing that, we have a final poll to seal the deal. See it now as it appears on your screen, and we really crave your feedback just to give us some general idea as to how the entire morning went. You have 1 minute to complete. Mr. Zoom Master, please launch the poll, and ladies and gentlemen, please put your answer in the chat. The first one in, how many properties under the Royalton brand are here in Jamaica? Day pass for 2 adults and 1 child. So you've got work to do, and I have maybe 50 seconds remaining to get your responses. And in the meantime, Oshin, if you have any winners from the 5 questions that we asked earlier on, please feel free, as soon as we end this poll, to give us the names of the winners. The winners for both the Royalton Prize and our goodie bags that we have here in the studio in our corporate boardroom at 64 to 70 Knutsford Boulevard. And we certainly want to thank Royalton for that gesture. Some lucky person this morning online will have a really nice prize. And of course, as we celebrate our 25th anniversary here at TPDCO, we will keep you posted for some of the other activities that we will be doing throughout the entire year of commemoration. And we certainly hope you'll be able to join us and be a part of it as we try to carry out our mandate of maintaining and enhancing Jamaica's tourism product. Mr. Zoom Master? And is that the end of our poll? Yes, I believe so. Oshin, do we have any winners? Can you tell us?
Yes, we do.
All right.
So for the first questions you asked, the 5 questions.
Yes.
We have Kellyanne Paulwell, Shauna Sherman, King J from Facebook, Miguel Arthurs, and Zenea.
And say that other name?
Zenada.
Zenada. Okay. All right. And do we have a winner for the Royalton question? How many properties are under the Royalton brand here in Jamaica? We would love to be able to announce that prize before we leave you in just a matter of a minute. But if not, we certainly will be in touch with the winner. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been our pleasure to bring you this special webinar. I hope you benefited from the wealth of information shared by our presenters and our tourism partners, and that we answered at least some of your questions to your satisfaction. Special appreciation to our own Cheryl Lewis, Deanne Keating-Campbell, Megan Mollison, and our tourism partners, Farah Blake, Kimika Beckford, and Mr. Waldy Christus, for lending their expertise and for sharing their experiences with us today. Thanks again to the Corporate Communications and Community Awareness team, Renee Johnson, who led this activity with commitment and tenacity, Oshin Wang, who's not feeling so well today, but she's still at home and helping us out online, Mrs. Deborah Bennett, Catherine Maxfield, and Roshane Robinson, who we borrow every now and again from our MIS department. Big thank you to the GIS team, which provided technical services today, and most importantly to you for joining us. You made it worth the while. Be listening up for other activities that TPDCO will be staging as part of our 25th anniversary commemoration. Until next time, I'm Marlene Stevenson Daly. Walk good and happy Emancipendence.